Are you looking to get started with Google Drive? In this video, we'll cover the basics of using this free cloud-based storage service. To get started, just go to www.google.com in your web browser. Then locate and select Sign In. Now if you don't already have a Google account, select Create Account near the bottom of the screen. Otherwise, you'll want to go ahead and enter the email address and password for your Google account. Once you've signed in, locate and select the grid near the upper right corner, then choose Drive. Your Google Drive will appear. Now you may notice that there's nothing here yet, but it's easy to add files to your Google Drive. Just click the New button on the left to create a new file or folder, or if you already have a file on your computer, you can upload it by simply dragging it onto your drive. And there we go. Let's take a look at a different account that's been using Google Drive for a while. Here you can see different files and folders that are stored on the Google Drive. If you select a file, you'll see additional options for it appear at the top of the screen. On the left, you'll also be able to access your folders, files shared with you, and more. Another thing you'll notice is the option to get Google Drive for your PC. If you choose to install this app, you'll be able to quickly access the files on your Google Drive from a folder on your computer, and any files that you move into that folder will automatically be uploaded to your drive. One other thing we'd like to mention is the Google Drive mobile app. Available for iOS and Android devices, the Google Drive app allows you to view and upload files from your mobile device wherever you are. This can be really convenient if you want to access a file on the go or back up something from your phone. Now it's worth pointing out that you can also edit documents on your mobile device, but you'll need to download separate apps to do that, such as the free Google Docs or Google Sheets app. Alright, those are the basics, and they should be enough to help you get started with Google Drive. Google Drive is a lot more than just a free online storage service. It also allows you to create and edit a variety of different files. For example, you might create a Google Doc, which is similar to a file you could create in Microsoft Word, a Google Sheet, which is similar to what you might create in Microsoft Excel, or a presentation, which is similar to what you might create in Microsoft PowerPoint. Creating a new file in your Google Drive is pretty easy. Just click the New button, then select the type of file you want to create. In this example, I want to make a document, so I'm going to choose Google Docs. Your file will appear in a new tab in your browser window. Now you can locate and select Untitled Document in the upper left corner and give your file a name. When you're done, press Enter. If we go back to our Google Drive, you can see that the file's already been saved here, and we can just double-click to open it again. Now you may also notice that there is no save command, and that's because every file you create on Google Drive is saved automatically as you work. One other thing we'd like to show you is how to create a document from a template. To get started, go to drive.google.com/templates. Then choose a category or use the search bar to find something more specific. In this example, I'm looking for a resume template. When you find a template you like, click Preview to view it, and if you like the way it looks, go ahead and click Use this template. A new file will be created on your Google Drive with the selected template. You can then customize it with all your own information to fit your needs. Now that you know the basics, you're ready to dive in and start creating your own files on Google Drive. Google Drive's free cloud storage service allows you to upload files from your computer and access them from anywhere. To upload a file, click the New button, then select File Upload. A dialog box will appear. You can locate and select the file on your computer, then click Open. And that's it. The file will be uploaded to your Google Drive. If you're looking for a faster method, you can also click and drag files right into your browser window to upload them. And if you're using the Google Chrome web browser, you can actually upload entire folders of files at once. This can help you save time if you want to put a lot of files onto your Google Drive at once. Do note that you'll only be able to upload folders to Drive if you're using the Google Chrome web browser. Google Drive also allows you to preview and edit many different types of files, even if you don't have the software for that file on your computer. For example, let's take a look at this spreadsheet I uploaded that was originally created in Microsoft Excel. You can just double-click the file to open it, and a preview of the file will appear. Now if you want to edit the file, select Open at the top of the screen. A new version of the file will be created in a Google Drive format. Do keep in mind that when converting a file to a Google Drive format, you might see some issues, especially with formatting. Still, all of my data are here, and it's easy to edit them. If we go back to our Google Drive, we can see that there are now two versions of this spreadsheet. The original spreadsheet that was created in Excel, and the new Google Drive file. Note that the icons also vary depending on what type of file it is. Finally, if you're planning on using Google Drive for editing a lot of documents, you may not want to have to convert each one manually. If you prefer, certain files can be converted to Google Docs format automatically on upload. To do this, locate and select the gear icon near the upper right corner. Select Settings, then check the box for Convert Uploaded Files to Google Docs Editor Format. When you're finished, click Done. Alright, those are the basics, and they should be enough to help you get started with uploading files and folders to Google Drive. If you've been using Google Drive for a while, you may find that you have a lot of different files, and that can make it hard to find what you're looking for. Fortunately, Drive has a lot of features built in to help you find the files you need and keep your files organized. For example, if you're looking for a particular file, you can use the search bar at the top. Just click the bar, type what you're looking for, and press Enter. If you think you found the file you need but you're not quite sure, you can use the preview option to just give it a quick glance without actually opening it. To do this, select the file, then click the Preview button near the upper right. From here you can choose to open the file for editing, or close it to get back to your drive. Sorting is another useful feature. For example, you can sort your files alphabetically from A to Z, or from Z to A, or from when they were last modified. This can be really helpful if you're looking for a file you edited last week or last year. Filters are similar to the search option, but they're a little more broad and can help to narrow down your files if you're not quite sure what you're looking for. To use a filter, click the small arrow in the right of the search box, then use the drop-down menus to select what you're looking for. In this example, I'm just looking for spreadsheets that I created. And there we go. If you have a lot of different things on your Google Drive, folders are probably the best way to keep related files together. To create a new folder, select the New button, then click Folder. Enter a name for your new folder, then press Enter or click the Create button. Your new folder will be created. To add a file to a folder, simply click and drag. You can then double-click to open a folder, and here's the file that we added. Let's go back to our drive and try adding multiple files to the folder at once. There are a few different ways to do this. For example, you can click and drag to select multiple files. Another method is to press and hold the Control key on your keyboard, or Command key if you're on a Mac computer, and then click the files you want to select. You can also use this method to deselect a file that you didn't mean to choose. Now if there's a file you no longer need on your drive, you can delete it. To delete a file, simply select it, then click the Remove button near the upper right. Now when you do this, the file will be moved to your trash. To delete a file permanently, you'll need to click Trash on the left, click the drop-down menu near the top, and then choose Empty Trash. This will permanently delete any files or folders in the trash can, which can free up space in your Google Drive. Okay, there's just one more thing we want to show you. If you want to see all of the options you have for a file, you can right-click it from your drive. Here you can see you can now preview the file, open it for editing, share it, or even download a version of the file to your computer. Alright, those are the basics, and we hope these tips will help to keep your drive organized and make it easy to find files you need. Sharing files is a really important feature in Google Drive. When you share a file with someone else, it makes it easier to collaborate on the document. Rather than sending different versions of the document back and forth through email, everyone can work on the same document at once. To share a file on your Google Drive, just select it, then click the Share button near the upper right. A dialog box will appear, and from here you can start entering the email addresses of the people you want to share with. And if you're sharing with multiple people, just separate each one with a comma. You can also decide how much control these people will have over the document. For example, you can give them full permission to edit and change the document, only leave comments, or just view the document. In this example, I want everyone to be able to edit the document, so I'm going to leave this setting alone. It's also important to note that anyone you share with this way will require their own Google account to view or edit the file. Next, we'll include a short message to let everyone know what the file is about. Then click Send. Another way to share a file is with a link. You'll start the same way by selecting the file and then clicking the Share button. When the dialog box appears, select Get Shareable Link. You can then copy and paste this link to share it with anyone, even if they don't have a Google account. In this example, I'm pasting it into an email message to quickly share the file. So, what happens after you share a file on Google Drive? Well, Google Drive has some really powerful co-authoring features. For example, if we open our document, we can see that some of the other people we shared the file with are viewing it as well. The real-time co-authoring feature allows everyone to work on the document at the same time. Everyone's changes will be indicated with a cursor by their name so you can tell who's doing what in the document. It's also easy to leave comments so you can talk back and forth with one another. To insert a comment, just select something in the file, right-click, and then choose Comment. A comment box will appear on the right, and from here you can add a short note about this part of the document. Your co-authors will then be able to respond directly to you. These features make it much easier to collaborate on a document and work out details with your co-authors in real time. Okay, now that you know the basics, you're ready to jump in and start collaborating and sharing on Google Drive.
Google Slides is a free, web-based application that allows you to create dynamic slide presentations similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. These presentations can include animations, images, videos, and much more. To get started, click the New button, then click Google Slides. Next, you might want to take a minute to explore the interface and learn your way around the different tools and features, including the menu and shortcut toolbars, zoom settings, and choosing a theme. First, we have the toolbar, where you can access different shortcuts that let you work with your document. This includes the commands like Layout and Transition, as well as formatting options like font color and size. To view even more options, use the menus above the toolbar. These give you access to many of the same tools and features, but with a few additions. For example, under Insert, you can add images, shapes, and other special elements to your slides. In the upper left corner, you can navigate back to Google Slides Home. Or you can click here to change the title of your presentation. You may have noticed that there's no Save button. That's because Google Slides uses an autosave feature, which automatically saves your file anytime you make a change. Finally, in the upper right corner, you'll find the Comments button and the Share button. These allow you to collaborate with other Google Drive users and quickly manage your sharing options. Within the main view of your presentation, there's the slide navigation pane, text placeholders, and an area to add speaker notes for presentations. When you're ready to show your presentation, or if you want to see what it will look like during a presentation, click the Present button to the right of the menus. You can also click the drop-down arrow for additional presentation options. That covers the basics of Google Slides. Now that you know your way around, you can start using it to create presentations of your own. Every Google Slides presentation is composed of a series of slides. To begin creating a presentation, you'll need to know the basics of working with slides. The key is understanding how slides, layouts, and placeholders work. Let's take a look at placeholders first. When you start with a new slide, it'll usually include one or more placeholders. You can create a new slide by clicking the New Slide command, or click the drop-down arrow to choose a layout that fits your content. Simply click the placeholder and start typing to add your text. Rather than inserting more slides for the rest of the presentation, I'm going to duplicate this one instead. This can really save you time when the slide you need is similar to what you already have. To duplicate slides, select the one you want to duplicate, right-click the mouse, and choose Duplicate Slide. You can change the order of your slides just as quickly. Just click and drag within the slide navigation pane to the desired position. If you want to remove a slide from your presentation, you can delete it. Simply select the one you want to delete, then press the Delete or Backspace key on your keyboard. Next, let's take a closer look at the slide itself and some of the ways you can customize it. You can quickly alter the layout and color palette of all your slides by changing the theme of the presentation. You can select a theme from the Themes pane on the right. Just click the desired theme and it will be applied to the entire presentation. It's important to know that when switching to a different theme, placeholders will move or resize automatically to fit the new theme, but manually inserted text boxes won't. Placeholders should generally be used whenever possible, rather than inserting new text boxes, to keep a presentation looking consistent. There are still a couple more features that'll let you customize your slides. For example, you can add a background image or change the color. Now you know how to work with slides, placeholders, and layouts, including a few simple tricks for changing your presentation's design. Have you ever seen a presentation that had special effects between each slide? If so, you've probably seen transitions in action. A transition can be as simple as fading from one slide to the next, or it can be a more flashy effect. To add a transition, select the desired slide, then click the Transition command on the toolbar. The Animations pane will appear. Here, you can configure the transition for the current slide. Click the drop-down menu at the top of the pane, then select a transition. The transition will be applied to the current slide. You can also adjust the speed or apply the same transition to all slides. To preview a transition, all you have to do is click the Play command. After the preview is finished, click Stop to continue editing your presentation. Transitions can add a nice touch between important slides, but they are best used in moderation. Adding too many of these effects can make your presentation look a little silly and even be distracting to your audience. Consider using mostly subtle transitions, like fade or dissolve, if you decide to use them at all. To remove a transition, just select No Transition from the drop-down menu in the Animations pane. You can remove transitions from all the slides by clicking Apply to All Slides. The best way to learn about transitions is to practice, so try using different ones with your own presentations. If you really want to add some excitement to your presentation, try adding some animations. Any object can be animated, making it move or fade in or out of the slide. To add an animation, right-click the desired object, then select Animate. The Animations pane will appear. A default animation will be added to the selected object and displayed in the pane. To change the animation, click the drop-down box and select the desired animation. If you want to add more animations to the slide, you can select an object and click Add Animation. By default, an effect starts playing when you click the mouse during a slideshow. If you have multiple effects, you will need to click multiple times to start each effect individually. However, by changing the start option for each effect, you can have effects that automatically play after the previous effect or with the previous effect. If the object is a placeholder or text box, the By Paragraph checkbox will be displayed. It determines if the animation is applied to the entire box or if it animates each paragraph of text in the box one at a time. You can also adjust the speed of the animation by dragging the animation speed slider. To preview an animation, all you have to do is click the play command. If the animations are set to play on click, you'll have to click to preview each animation. So I'll click to see the first animation, then the next. After the preview is finished, click Stop to continue editing your presentation. Animations can add a nice touch on important slides, but they are best used in moderation. Adding too many of these effects can make your presentation look a little silly and can even be distracting to your audience. To delete an animation, select the desired animation effect, then click the X button here. Adding a few animations can turn a simple slideshow into a presentation that's engaging and fun for your audience to watch. Once your slideshow is complete, you may need to present it to an audience. Fortunately, Google Slides comes with several different tools that can help you give a smooth, professional-looking presentation. When you're ready, there are a few different ways to start playing your presentation. You can either click the Present command to play from the current slide, or click the drop-down menu for more options. I'm going to select Present from Beginning to play from the first slide. To go to the next slide, you can click your mouse or press the spacebar on your keyboard. Or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to go backwards or forwards. There's also a menu that appears when you move your mouse over the bottom left corner. This gives you easy access to navigation buttons and also some other options that can help you during your presentation. For example, you can turn your cursor into a laser pointer. When you're finished, you can exit the slideshow by pressing the Escape button on your keyboard, or click the Exit button from the presentation commands in the bottom left. If you're going to be using a second display to give your presentation, like a projector or a separate monitor, there's a feature called Presenter View that can give you some extra help behind the scenes. Select Presenter View in the drop-down menu to start the slideshow with Presenter View open. This is a window only visible to you that displays tools to help you with your presentation. It allows you to keep track of time, preview the upcoming slide, and reference any notes that you've added. Now you know how to present your slideshow. With a little practice and with so many helpful tools, you'll be a better presenter in no time.
Google Drive's free cloud storage service allows you to upload files from your computer and access them from anywhere. To upload a file, click the New button. Then select File Upload. A dialog box will appear. You can locate and select the file on your computer. Then click Open. And that's it. The file will be uploaded to your Google Drive. If you're looking for a faster method, you can also click and drag files and folders right into your browser window to upload. This can help you save time if you want to put a lot of files on your Google Drive at once. Google Drive also allows you to preview and edit many different types of files, even if you don't have the software for that file on your computer. For example, let's take a look at this spreadsheet I uploaded that was originally created in Microsoft Excel. You can just double-click the file to open it, and a preview of the file will appear. Now, if you want to edit the file, select Open in Google Sheets at the top of the screen. Do keep in mind that with some files, you might see some issues, especially with formatting. Still, all my data is here, and it's easy to edit it. And even though I opened it using Google Sheets, any changes will be saved in the original file format. Although Google Drive makes it easy to edit files in their original format, you also have the option to convert files to a Google format. After you open the file, you can go to File to find the option. In this example, we can convert it to the Google Sheets format, so we'll select Save as Google Sheets. Now, if we go back to our Google Drive, we can see that there are now two versions of this spreadsheet: the original spreadsheet that was created in Excel and the new Google Sheets file. Note that the icons also vary depending upon what type of file it is. If you have a lot of files you want to convert to a Google format, you can change the settings to make converting files automatic when you upload them. To do this, locate and select the gear icon near the upper right corner. Select Settings, then check the box for Convert Uploaded Files to Google Docs Editor Format. When you're finished, click Done. Alright, those are the basics, and they should be enough to help you get started with uploading files and folders to Google Drive.
In Google Slides, it's possible to use shapes and lines to create diagrams from scratch, but you can also quickly and easily insert pre-made ones. There are a lot of presets to choose from, and they can be used to display all kinds of information. To get started, go to Insert, then Diagram. A new pane opens with several different types of diagrams to choose from. In this example, I want to create an organizational chart, so hierarchy will work best. At the top, you can change the number of levels in the diagram, and you can change the color. For this example, we'll start with the default settings. To insert a diagram, just click on it, and it will be added to the slide. Now let's make some changes so that the diagram better matches the rest of the presentation. You can close the diagrams pane to give yourself more room to work. To edit different parts of the diagram, you first have to select them, and this is not always as easy as it sounds. To select the whole diagram, click an empty spot on the slide and drag a box around all of the elements in the diagram. You can now move the whole diagram at the same time by clicking and dragging one of the elements. You can also change the color. The red is hard to see, so let's choose something else. With everything still selected, go to Border Color and choose the color that you want. This changes the color of the borders and of the lines connecting the boxes, but not of the text. To be able to change the text color, you need to only select the text boxes and not any of the other lines. To do that, deselect everything by clicking in an empty spot on the slide, then reselect just the text boxes by holding down Shift as you click each one. Holding the Shift key and clicking each item individually makes it easier to only select exactly what you want. With just the text boxes selected, you can now click Text Color and choose the color that you want. I'll choose white again. There. This is starting to look pretty good. Now let's edit the actual content. To edit a text box, make sure that nothing is selected, then click the text that you want to edit. The insertion point appears, and you can make your edits. When you're done, click an empty area to deselect the text box. Okay, I've updated all the names in the diagram, but I need to make a structural change. Jim Franks should actually be underneath Luis Ramirez. Making this change is going to be a little tricky, so you might want to follow my steps exactly until you get some practice at it. To move a box, click and drag it to where you want it. Then, click on the line to select it. Handles appear at either end, and you can click and drag the handle that you want to move. As you move over a box, anchor points appear for you to drop the handle onto. There. These boxes are now connected. If you want to add another box, the easiest way is to select a box and its connecting line. Right-click and choose Copy. Then right-click again and choose Paste. Click and drag to move the new box. Then hold Shift and click the box so that just the line remains selected. Now you can connect the floating handle to an anchor point on a box. Once everything is connected, you can reposition the elements as needed. As with most skills, learning to edit diagrams can be frustrating. But with some practice, you'll be able to create diagrams that look great and communicate what they're supposed to.
When you give a presentation, you want your audience to be engaged. And one way to increase engagement is to invite the audience to participate using the Audience Question and Answer tool. To get started, click the drop-down arrow next to Present and choose Presenter View from the menu. The presentation will start like normal, but a separate window also opens up to help guide you during your presentation. To open a Q&A session, click the Audience Tools tab. Then select Start New. The Q&A session is now open. Here is what the audience sees. A large notification appears above the presentation. Audience members can go to the URL to ask a question. Here's what the process looks like on a smartphone. Audience members start by typing the URL into the address bar of the web browser, then tapping Go. A web page opens and the audience members can see questions that have already been submitted. If they're signed into their Google account, they can even vote on which questions they most want to have answered. To ask their own question, participants can tap the text box and type their question. If they are signed in, their name will appear alongside their question, but they can choose to ask the question anonymously if they want to. They submit their question by tapping Submit. In the presenter view, you can see every question as they are submitted. To show a question to the audience, click Present. They will see the question instead of the current slide. To return to the presentation, you can either go to another slide or you can click Hide. If you ever want to stop accepting questions, just click the toggle near the top. Audience members won't be able to submit any questions while accepting questions is turned off. Another useful feature of Audience Q&A is that you can review the questions after the presentation is finished. To see past questions, go to Tools. Q&A History. Here you can review questions that were asked during each session, which can provide helpful feedback about how to improve your presentation in the future. Inserting a video into Google Slides is a great way to engage your audience, and it is simple to add them to any presentation. First, go to the slide where you want to insert the video. Looking at the top toolbar, go to Insert, then click Video from the drop-down menu. A window pops up that gives you options to insert a video. If you already have a YouTube URL, the By URL option lets you paste it to insert that specific video. Search allows you to find a video from YouTube. Start by typing what you are looking for into the search bar, then press Enter. Once you find the video that you want, click it. Then the Select button. The video appears on the slide. Since this video is the focus of the presentation, let's resize it to fill the whole screen. Let me first zoom out. To zoom out, click on the drop-down arrow next to the magnifying glass. Select Zoom Out from the list. We're going to use the click and drag method as well as the resizing handles to get the video to fill the slide. It may take a few tries to line up the video, and that's okay. I suggest using the alignment lines as a guide. The goal is to make the video look the way you want it on the slide. Once done with resizing, the Format Options pane on the right side gives the presenter options to have the video work best for their presentation. Also, if you closed out of the Format Options pane, select the video, then click on Format Options on the toolbar. The pane appears on the right-hand side of the screen. Navigate to Video Playback. If you only want a portion of the video, you can change the start at and end at times. Click the Autoplay when presenting checkbox to have the video automatically play when the presentation goes to that slide. If you want to talk over the video, click the Mute Audio checkbox to silence the sound. Next, go to the drop-down arrow next to Present. Select Present from the beginning. Click the right arrow key on your keyboard to go forward in the presentation. As you can see, the video plays automatically when you get to that particular slide, and it starts at the time that was set in Format Options. To pause the video, click the mouse. To exit the presentation, press the Escape key on your keyboard. If the video you want to insert is on your hard drive, the process will be a little different. You'll first need to open your Google Drive. Locate the file on your computer, then simply click, drag, and drop it into the Google Drive window. The video will upload into your Google Drive. Now that the file is uploaded to your Google Drive, all you have to do is go to Insert, then click Video from the drop-down menu. Select the Google Drive option. Then you can access your file there. Inserting a video is a great way to explain or add relevant information within your Google Slides presentation. Audience members will enjoy seeing your topic presented in a unique way.
In Google Slides, you can easily turn any object or text into a link. And linking between slides is a powerful feature with lots of possibilities. It can be used to add a simple table of contents, or to create an interactive presentation like this one. In this presentation, you can click a planet to go to that planet's slide. Once there is another link that you can click to navigate back to the first slide. Okay, let's try setting this up for ourselves. Start by selecting the object or text that you want to turn into a link. In this example, I'll select the text that says, "Return to first slide." Then, right-click your selection and choose Link. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Control-K or Command-K if you're on a Mac. A dialog box will open. If you want to link to a website, you can add a URL. But to link to another slide within your presentation, click Slides in this presentation. Select the slide you want and click Apply. That's it. Your selection is now a clickable link. Notice that the text formatting has automatically changed. You can use the toolbar to change it back if you want, but this formatting is helpful because it lets people know that this text is clickable. Whenever you select an object or text that is linked, a dialog box appears. From this dialog, you can remove, edit, or copy the link. You can also go to the link. Let's do that to make sure it's working correctly. Perfect. Okay, now I want to turn Jupiter into a link. But there's a problem. This slide is a single image, meaning that I can't actually select the planet. A workaround is to create a transparent shape and place it over top of Jupiter. This technique allows you to turn any part of your slide into a link. In the toolbar, click Shape. Hover over Shapes and choose the circle. Then click and drag to draw the shape. Move the circle so that it lines up with Jupiter. Next, we need to make the circle transparent. In the toolbar, change the fill to transparent, and change the border to transparent as well. There, now we have an invisible object on top of Jupiter. With the object selected, add a link using the keyboard shortcut Control-K or Command-K. When the dialog box opens, click the Slides drop-down, select the slide you want, and click Apply. Let's make sure everything is working. Click Present to start the presentation. Notice how the cursor changes when I hover over Jupiter, and when I click, it takes me to the Jupiter slide. When I click Return to First Slide, it takes me back. Everything is working. We are well on our way to building an interactive presentation. You can repeat this process to create links for the rest of the planets and slides, but you can also use copy and paste to speed things up. However, when you copy and paste an object, the link will stay the same. That means that you'll have to edit the link by clicking the pencil icon, removing the current link, and selecting the correct slide. As you can see, once you get the hang of linking between slides, there are nearly endless possibilities.
How do you make a presentation polished? Consider adding a template. There are many websites that have free Google Slides templates for people to use. In this video, we'll focus on slidesgo.com. To find the template that you want, you can search using the search bar, or you can use the toolbar that lets you search by color, style, industry, and other options. You will see a variety of different types of templates. However, you do not want to choose a template that requires you to make drastic changes. Let's start our search here. I like the Stay Creative template. Let's take a look at the template. This window lets me preview the presentation. Looking at the background color options, it is important to check if the font is easy to read. I'm going to select the first background color because the text really stands out. You can use the arrow keys to flip through the presentation to see features and layouts. If you like the template, click Use a Google Slides theme. Click the button Make a copy. The presentation is saved to your Google Drive. You can rename it here. Now you can edit the presentation to include the information that you want, similar to how you would edit any other Google Slides presentation. Looking at the second slide, it tells you how to use the features of this template. For example, it mentions the alternative resources and thanks slides, which we will talk about later in this video. After you understand the features and finish editing your presentation, you can delete this slide. You can also check out layout options by clicking the drop-down arrow next to the plus sign. Another way to make edits is by going to Slide, then Edit Master. Here you can edit individual layouts, but keep in mind that any changes made here apply to all slides with that layout. For example, if you find yourself changing the font size often, you could change the font with that slide layout. To close out of this window, click the X. Making a copy of a slide is super useful if you want to reuse the layout on another slide. Right-click on the slide you want, then Duplicate Slide. Some templates come with alternative resources to give you options that match the design. I can choose any of these illustrations by copy and pasting them to another slide. Near the bottom of the slide's navigation pane, you may find editable resources for your slides. Here you can see graphics, maps, tables, and more. Unlike the alternative resources, these graphics are not part of the theme. Therefore, you may have to change their color or resize them to make them fit the theme better. Here are the instructions for use. It's up to you to read them carefully and understand how to keep your presentation in compliance with SlidesGo's terms and conditions. After you've read the instructions for use slide, you can delete this slide and any other slide with graphics that you do not need. But don't delete the Thanks slide. Here is where it gives credit to SlidesGo, which is required by their terms and conditions. Free Google Slides templates help you to have a consistent design theme throughout your presentation. With plenty of free template websites to choose from, you can assemble a presentation for any occasion.
So the theme you've chosen for your presentation looks pretty good, but you want to make a few changes. You could edit each slide individually, but a better solution is to edit the master slides. Learning how to work with master slides can be a little challenging, but the reward is well worth it. To get started, click Slide, then Edit Master. The new editor will open over top of your presentation. Here, instead of editing individual slides, you are editing slide layouts. Along the left side, you'll see all of the layouts in your theme. And if you look closely, you'll see a yellow outline around the currently selected layout. If you were to make changes to this layout, those changes would be applied to each slide in your presentation that uses this layout. If you want to make changes that affect the whole presentation, select the master slide at the top. Editing a master slide is similar to editing a normal slide in your presentation. You can add and remove elements, change text formatting, and more. For example, you can click the title text to select it, go to the toolbar, and make it italic. If you look closely, you'll see that the titles in all of the slide layouts are now italic as well. If you also want to change the color of the text, click Text Color. You have two options at this point. You could simply choose a new color for the text, or you could choose to edit the theme colors. The advantage of editing the theme colors is that you can change the color everywhere it's used in the presentation, not just in the title. Let me show you what I mean. Click the pencil icon to open the Theme Colors pane. Then, click the drop-down. There are several theme colors to choose from, but we want Text and Background 1. Then, choose a new color. When you look at the slide layouts, you'll see that not only has the title color changed, but the background color on several other layouts has changed as well. That's the power of using theme colors. You can update your entire presentation with just a few clicks. Let's go back to our presentation. Click the X in the top right to close the Theme Colors pane, and then again to close the Master Slides editor. Now we can see that the new color and title formatting has been applied to the presentation. This is looking pretty good, but I do want to make a few more changes. I want the blue box on the title slide to be larger, but there's a problem. I can't select it. That's because the blue box is part of the slide's layout, not of the slide itself. To edit the layout, once again go to Slide, Edit Master. Now you can select and edit all of the elements. I'll click and drag the box's sizing handle to make it larger, and I'll hold the Control key while dragging to make it resize from the center. That helps keep everything lined up. Then I'll select the white outline and size it up as well. There. I like that better. When I close out of the editor, I can see that my title slide has updated. As you can probably tell, learning how to work with master slides is a little tricky, but it's also super useful. Another benefit is that it's easy to import your customizations into a new presentation as the theme. Here's how that works. Open the presentation into which you want to import your customized theme, then click Theme in the toolbar. The Themes pane will open, and at the bottom, there's an option to Import Theme. A new window opens, and you will see all of your Google Slides presentations. Choose the right presentation, then click Select. Next, select the theme, and click Import Theme. Congratulations! You have just imported your own custom theme into a new presentation.
Google Slides has many integral features, but you may find that you need something particular that is not built in. Slides add-ons are specific tools made by third parties. This means that they are not created by Google itself. People install them to have extra features within their Google Slides presentations. To get started, let's go to Add-ons on the toolbar. Then, Get Add-ons. I'm going to take a look at Pear Deck for Google Slides. When looking at add-ons, it is important to check if it has a good rating, substantial number of users, and is compatible with the Google app that you want to use. You should use your best judgment in order to see if you can trust it to access various aspects of your Google account. By reading the overview, you can note how useful it would be as the tool that you need. This one is for teachers to engage their students while they use any internet-connected device. To get the add-on, click Install. This dialog box will ask you if you want to begin the installation process. By clicking Continue, you are agreeing that you understand the terms of use of the add-on. Next, you'll select the Google account that you want to use with it. You may be wondering what the add-on will access in regards to your Google account. Most of them will have this type of dialog box to let you know. Oftentimes, add-ons will have access to all of your documents. Click Allow if you still trust it after taking the time to inform yourself. Google Slides shows you where to find it on the toolbar. Click Done, then close out of it. Most add-ons show up as panels on the right side of the screen. Also, they may have features that are only available with premium subscriptions that you can sign up for through creating an account with the add-on. For Pear Deck, the features that have a gold star are premium features. To use these starred features, you'll need to pay for a subscription as an individual, or see if your school has a paid subscription. What's unique about Pear Deck is that it has a template library for educators to build their class presentations. Here it has categorized slide templates. I'm going to click on Beginning of Lesson. I want a text slide that tells students what they need for materials and has them answer a question about their homework. I like the first one. It may take a few seconds for the template to show up. You can edit the slide to include information that you need. In order to start or present with this particular one, you will have to create an account. Many add-ons may redirect you to their website and require that you make an account in order to use it. It is up to you to decide what type of subscription that you want. To remove it from your Google account, click Add-ons, then Manage Add-ons. You can uninstall it by clicking on the three dots and selecting Uninstall. There are many to choose from, but it is up to you to determine if you trust the add-on and if you find its features beneficial. If you want to create a handout of a Google Slides presentation, you can either print a hard copy or export a PDF. In this video, we will explore both options. First, go to File, Print Settings and Preview. The default is to have each slide be one page. To change this, open the drop-down menu. If you want to include the presentation notes, you can pick the option with Notes. I'm going to take a look at some of the alternative handout options. 3 slides per page provides a note-taking column within the handout, which could help those attending a training or lecture. The option of 9 slides per page may be hard to read as a handout for the audience, but could be useful to presenters to see an overview of their presentation. 4 slides per page helps to consolidate the number of slides to fewer pages and is easier to read. Depending on the option you choose, you can see if landscape or portrait mode formats the slides better for legibility. Hide background is a feature that helps to decrease the amount of ink used to print a handout. It hides the theme background from the printed slides, but you can still see images as well as text with darker font colors. One disadvantage is that a presentation with lighter font colors will have unreadable text since the background is now white. If you'd rather save a local copy, select Download as PDF. It will appear as a local file within the Downloads folder on your computer. Let's click on Print. The options that you have selected will show up on the preview screen. Click the drop-down arrow to pick an option. You can choose a printer, save as PDF to your computer, or save as PDF to your Google Drive. Adding more pages per sheet is an option that we don't necessarily recommend. Instead, it's better to use the slides per page option that we introduced earlier because it is specifically designed for creating handouts. There are 3 ways to print if you do not need specialized options. First, there is an icon you can click on the toolbar. Second, you can use the keyboard shortcut of Control-P or Command-P if you are on a Mac. Lastly, you can go to File, then select Print. Printing a Google Slides presentation is easy with the options and features available to you. Whether you want to have a hard copy or create a PDF, Google Slides has both options for you to use. It is your turn to present, but the person before you went over their time. Now you have to cut out information or forgo your question and answer time. Which would you choose? Google Slides has the Skip Slide tool to help you quickly hide slides from your presentation. To get started, select a slide that you want to skip. Right-click on the slide and select Skip Slide. An icon appears telling you that this slide will be hidden from your presentation. You can select as many slides as you want to skip using the right-click method. Let's see the changes to the presentation. Click the drop-down arrow next to Present. Select Present from Beginning. As I click through the presentation, I can see that the slide was skipped. To exit out of presentation mode, press Escape on your keyboard. If you'd rather keep the slide visible, right-click on it and select Skip Slide to uncheck it. I think I'll choose to forgo the question and answer time. I'm going to right-click and skip Slide 8 to hide the Q&A session. Let's print a handout to have as an overview. Go to File, Print Settings and Preview. I'll choose Handout 9 slides per page. At the moment, the handout will include the skipped slides. Click on Include Skip Slides. The Q&A slide that we skipped is no longer part of the handout. To print, click the icon on the toolbar. If you are short on time, have unnecessary information, or no longer have time for a Q&A session, Google Slides Skip Slide feature can help you modify your presentation. Preparing for a presentation without an adequate amount of time to do so is stressful. Voice-type speaker notes is a feature of Google Slides presentations that can quickly record and type your thoughts underneath each slide. If you are using a computer or a smartphone, adding speaker notes looks a little different. On a computer, the voice typing feature only works if you are using Chrome as your web browser. Later in this video, we'll talk about the mobile process. To begin, select the slide that you want to add speaker notes. Then go to Tools, Voice Type Speaker Notes. If you need to change the language, the drop-down arrow can help you. Then, click on the microphone icon. If you haven't already allowed Google to use your microphone, you may see a pop-up asking for access. Click Allow. With the help of event planners, people can celebrate various milestones in their lives, period. I click the microphone icon to turn it off. As you can see, the voice typing feature may not capture every word accurately. You can edit the text as you normally would, or you can right-click the underlined words to see suggested changes. The process is a little different on a smartphone. You'll need to have downloaded the Google Slides app and have already logged in using your Google account. Click on the three dots in the upper right corner. Then tap the control to turn on speaker notes. Select the slide that you want to add speaker notes, then tap the Speaker Notes text box. The feature of voice type speaker notes is not available on mobile yet, but there is an alternative. You can either type information or use your phone's built-in voice typing feature. For example, on an iPhone, you can access this feature by tapping the microphone icon. An event budget defines the type of space, number of people invited, and the amount of food ordered, period. Correcting a lot of misspelled words or odd phrases can be cumbersome on a tablet or mobile device. You may want to re-record if there are many mistakes. Whether you use speaker notes to practice what you are going to say or as a reference, Google Slides Voice Type Speaker Notes feature can quickly capture your thoughts. You have added objects to your slides presentation, but now it looks disorganized and jumbled. How can you arrange the objects to make it look more polished? Google Slides has tools to help you put together a slide with everything in its place. To get started, we'll take a look at slide 5. This slide has some photos overlapping and one that is too far apart from the others. I want to distribute the photos horizontally, which will make them no longer overlap. To select all of the photos, shift-click each photo. Then go to Arrange, Distribute, Horizontally. With all of the photos selected, I want them to align themselves to their bottom line. I'll accomplish this by going to Arrange, Align, Bottom. Let's add a rectangle behind the photos to make a background. First go to Insert, Shape, then hover over Shapes, then select the rectangle. Draw the rectangle around the photos. Before the next step, I'm going to make the rectangle fit the theme better by changing its color to navy. As you can see, the photos are hidden at the moment because the rectangle is at the forefront. Putting objects in order means arranging the layers on the slide. We need to move the rectangle back to see the photos. Go to Arrange, Order. With the options available within Order, you can decide what you want in the background and at the forefront. Let's see if Send Backward would help. The rectangle moved behind only one of the photos, which is not exactly what we want. Let's try a different option. I'll choose Send to Back. The rectangle is behind all of the photos just like I wanted. I want to be able to move the objects without having to make adjustments every time. To do so, make sure the photos in the rectangle are selected by holding down the Shift button on your keyboard and clicking on them. Now they are all selected. Go to Arrange, Group. Now I can move and resize them as a group. There are too many objects on the slide. I don't think I need the photo in the middle. I'll click on it and press Delete on my keyboard. The photo on the right needs to be rotated. With the photo selected, go to Arrange, Rotate, Rotate clockwise 90 degrees. Now using the arrangement method shown before, I will clean up the slide using the tools found in the Arrange drop-down menu, as well as use the sizing handles. As you arrange objects on your slides, you'll notice that your presentation is looking more organized. Having a polished Google Slides presentation with everything in its place helps the audience focus on the information presented instead of slides that distract from your message.
Adding charts to your presentation allows you to communicate data in a visually compelling way. To insert a chart, go to Insert, then hover over Chart. You have a couple of different options. If you want to create a chart from scratch, you can choose the chart type. If you instead want to import a chart that you previously made in Google Sheets, click From Sheets. A new window opens with all of your spreadsheets. Choose the one that has the chart you want, then click Select. In the next window, select the chart that you want to import, then make sure that Link to Spreadsheet is checked. This is important. If you uncheck this option, you won't be able to edit your chart after you import it. When you're ready, click Import. The chart is added to your slide. If you want, you can resize it by clicking and dragging the sizing handles. Use one of the handles in the corner to prevent the chart from stretching out of proportion. You can also click and drag the chart to reposition it. In order to edit the chart, you have to open it in Google Sheets. Click the drop-down in the top right corner and choose Open Source. It may take a second or two, but the Google Sheet will open and you can make your edit. To make formatting changes to the chart, right-click and choose Chart Style. In the pane that opens, you can control virtually every aspect of the chart's appearance. For example, if you want to remove the title, click the Chart and Access Titles drop-down, then delete the text in the title field. There, the title is gone. This will work well for our example because there is already a title on the slide in the presentation. You can also make changes to the data that the chart uses. In this example, the number 250 was a typo. It was supposed to say 25. So, I'll change it, and the chart will update. Okay, let's go back to the tab with our Google Slides presentation. There should now be an Update button in the top right corner of the chart. If the Update button isn't there, try refreshing the web page. That should solve the problem. To update your chart, simply click Update. The changes that you made in Google Sheets are now reflected in your presentation. That's how you import a chart that was previously created using Google Sheets. But what if you need to create a chart from scratch? If that's the case, go to Insert, Chart, and then choose the style that you want. A chart will be inserted with default styling and sample data. Once again, you can only edit the chart from within Google Sheets, so click the drop-down and choose Open Source. The Google Sheet that opens was automatically created when you inserted the chart. From here, you can edit the data and chart styling just as you would any other chart in Google Sheets. Just make sure that you remember to update the chart in your presentation after you finish making your changes.